The first step, as with any other room, is always your long dust. You'll be dusting the ceilings for cobwebs. You will also be dusting the baseboards. You will also be dusting the blinds and any wall hangings, making sure you use one hand to support whatever you're dusting with your long duster. You also will use your long duster to dust the ceiling fans. Also use your long dusting tool to reach behind furniture, to dust the baseboards, and to pull away any excess dirt that the vacuum will not be able to get to otherwise. And don't forget to dust the lampshades that you do come across. These collect a lot of dust. And also dust the ceiling fans one blade at a time. And here, while dusting the blinds, you will give one hand to support the blind so it's not shaking vigorously while you are doing this dusting motion. And then you flip it, and then you will dust the other side. Having completed that, you will open the blind so you can dust the top ledge and also dust the very top for cobwebs and dust the ledge itself, the window sill. Close it back up and just make sure you put the blinds back to their original position. And here she moves on to the TV area. And you can use your long dusting tool to dust the back of the TV and the front of the TV. However, if there is a lot of dust, you will need to use your dry orange cloth to dust the front and the back of this television. However, in this case, it's a weekly client, and just dusting with the long duster will be sufficient. At times you will find that simply dusting the window sills and ledges will not be sufficient, and you will need to go back to these areas and actually wet wipe with your blue rag. So these are areas that you want to pay attention and extra attention to because you'll find some insects who collect in these areas. You'll have some excess cobwebs and sometimes some condensation from the window. So just pay attention to these areas and make sure you go back and wet wipe whenever necessary. And the next step following your long dust is always the hand brush. And the hand brush, you would use this to brush off any furniture or any small area rugs that may be in the room that would be difficult for the vacuum to go over. And also brush off the cushions that the customer would have on their couches, as you see over here, and then just set them aside. And you're brushing with this hand brush on a couch that is fabric, such as this one that shows your marks. Your marks have to be very deliberate. You want to have that V shape on that fabric, similar to the way that you would have it if you were vacuuming on a carpet. So that's the same pattern you're striving for. You're moving in one direction, forwards and backwards, and leaving a pattern on the fabric itself. This makes it look professionally done, and it's really pleasing to the customer eye when they walk into the room, and it makes all the difference. As you can see the pattern here, she's using the same motion going forward, backward, and going all around the couch while she's using that same motion. Set back all the cushions to the way that the customer had it. Now this couch has an exposed back on the side where you can see. She'll go back here and continue along and give it the same pattern. This is where the customer can see. So we want to make sure they have the same pattern front and back. Dust off that ledge. Next step will be short dust, your orange rag and your all-purpose foam spray. Spray onto the rag itself, never directly on furniture. A little bit always goes a long way. And with everything else, you're lifting and replacing. You're dusting all the decorative items that they have. Lift it, replace it, dust underneath and behind. Everything that your hand touches, lift it up, dust underneath. Put it back the way that it originally was. Reach behind the TV there. Lift up anything that you can. Dust underneath it. Put it back. Here you're working left to right, top to bottom. Dust the front of those picture frames. Lift it up. Dust underneath it and behind it. And set it back to where it was. Earlier on at the beginning of this video, you saw her dust the front of the TV screen with her long duster. This is okay, and it is sufficient for a client that is on a recurring service such as weekly and sometimes even bi-weekly, depending on how much dust the customer gets. In this case, this customer is a weekly client and there is not a lot of dust on the front of that TV screen. Therefore, that initial dust with the long duster is enough, and she does not need to wipe off again the front of that TV screen with a dry cloth. And this will conclude the dusting in this living room. This customer does not have a lot of furniture, and that will be the standard of clean for a JudyMaids professional clean.